Hello, welcome to another Blood Bowl game analysis video. This time it's round 2 of the official NAF Waterbowl tournament on Blood Bowl 2. And this time we have some Dwarves with the Diving Tackle Death Roller against some Skaven. As always, this video is just a little bit of a fun walk through some of the thought processes and decisions that I made during a game. Not to be too deep or analytical. I'll just get this started and we'll talk about some of the skills. So I've got the same Diving Tackle Death Roller roster as before, so that's Diving Tackle on the Death Roller, 4 guard guys and 1 leader, because you can only get 1 reroll this way. And the Skaven team have got Mighty Blow on Storm Vermin, Tackle on Storm Vermin, a Block Gutter Runner, Claw on the Rat Ogre, Sure Hands on a Gutter Runner, and Wrestle on a Gutter Runner. Okay, so let's kick this off. Okay, so first kick off of the drive, throw a rock, knocks out the Death Roller. And also a Skaven, so that's good, but obviously the Death Roller is a problem. I couldn't really use my Apothecary there because he'll just score quickly. Yeah, and with the Touchback as well, unfortunately that's just going to be a free touchdown. It's not the end of the world. As I said in the previous game, part of the point of the Death Roller is to maybe buy the touchdown against Skaven or something like that. It's not the end of the world, but yeah. I'm not sure it's the best idea here. You can probably just score in 2 or 3. Like, the one thing you don't want to do against Dwarves, the Skaven, is score in 2 turns, because that just gives them the whole rest of the game just to beat you up. So, scoring quickly when the Death Roller is on the pitch, yeah, maybe that's the thing you want to do. Probably not, but that's definitely an option. But when the Death Roller is gone, you just want to be playing cagey. Yeah, so now at this stage, I just want to make sure the touchdown happens now, so I get my full 7 turns to drive. So I'm just blitzing this guy out of the way so I can run all these guys back. Towards the ball. Not taking any risks. I could have possibly blitzed him if I wanted to make a dodge or something, but like, no. Let's just give the touchdown up. That's not a problem. And then we will and try and drive for 7 turns. The Skaven definitely could have made this, dragged this out a little bit longer, even just by running these remaining Skaven forward into my half of the pitch. But he got sucked into the big guy block, so that didn't happen. But yeah, that's fine. Okay, so he's marking up, that's fine. 3 dice blitz with the Rat Ogre. It's 1 in 27 chance to lose the game on the spot, which I'm not sure that's the greatest idea. But that's fine, it's away with it. 1-0 to the Skaven, that's fine. We'll just go to plan B, which is drive for 15 turns. The Claw Rat Ogre is obviously a problem. That's got potential to spike and then just win the game that way, but we'll just have to try and outposition it, try and marginalise it from the game, and hopefully we can just do our normal drive. Okay, and the kickoff is a blitz. So yeah, that is the obviously worst case scenario when your opponent gets a 2-turn touchdown with Skaven. Not the best idea. As you can see, I've kind of been punished here for my positioning on the line of scrimmage. I could have just put this guy here, and then there would have been no opportunity for him to walk through the middle. So that's definitely a mistake on my part. So you can't mitigate the blitz or the dice roll on the careful table, but you can deal with your positioning. yeah, so he's going all out with like 3+ dodges before he moves the gutter runners and stuff. So that's definitely a thing. But we will see what we can do. Oh, okay, and he's got the kickoff as well. So yeah, this is going real bad. But we're not out of it yet, so we'll see what we can do. Yeah, so it's interesting. But yeah, we've got an injury here. He's put everybody in contact, so we're just to hope that we can, you know, make the armor 7 tell. Okay, we've blitzed in this direction so we can push back and get an extra block if we need to, just freeing up some of the other players. Push this guy in to get an assist. We're just trying to, at this stage, if we can't get the ball, let's high up as many of the Skaven players as possible, so it's even more difficult for him to recover it on his turn. So we're just trying to make it really, really messy so that he has lots of dice rolls on his turn, almost regardless of what goes on. Yeah, so great. We've got 3 players off the pitch, so we are getting back into the game now. If we hadn't got that, I think we would have been in real trouble with the blitz, but luckily that's what happens when you put Skaven next to dwarves. Okay, we didn't even try and pick up the ball there. It's the chances of failing it and then just bouncing out into one tackle zone with the gutter runner hovering around is a problem. Yeah, on the previous turn we double marked the rat ogre as well, just to make sure that he couldn't get involved near the ball. Oh, another 3-up dodge. So push onto the ball. Oof, that's a really good location for it to end up. It's a problem, but we've got a gutter runner coming in here. 4-up pickup. Sure hands as well. Yeah, so those gutter runners ended up in exactly the right place, didn't they? I'm not sure catch gutter runner was the best pick, but somehow it worked. But luckily we got away with the pickup. So from this stage we can try and recover. Had to open with a non-block block, but there's just no other way of getting all the assists and 2 dices in that way, because we needed to move him away to get the assist with the blitzer here, and then the ball is free. We can try and pick it up. We'll just a bit ultra safe now. Just try and move these guys around in case we fail it. Luckily we don't, and then we can move back into the pocket with guard covering most of the squares. Yeah, with that done, we've then finally did a block with the Troll Slayer on the Rat Ogre. Dauntless failed and it went into a skull, but we're in such a tough position that I thought it was worth a reroll there, because then we can line up these 2 extra 2 dice blocks and really tie up some of these linemen. The linemen and the Stormburn in particular, the real key with Skaven. If you can tie them up, then the gutter runners are mobile, but they're strength 2, so they can't really like mark you up too effectively. It's just the agility you always have to worry about. Oh, one of these 3-up dodges finally fails, so we get away with that 1 dice block, so that's okay. Just about dragging our way back into this game. We're obviously deep in our half, which is not great for dwarves, but we still got some time left on the clock, so hopefully we can get forward. Chance of getting back to a cage now, so this is quite nice. Yeah, something approaching normal Blood Bowl. We're just prioritising blocks for position here rather than maximising damage now. Just need to try and form this cage up. There we go, finally we have the ball in a cage. Yeah, so that was a juicy block, but it didn't give us any positional advantage, that's why we left it till last. And with the claw Rat Ogre, there's no point not going for the Dauntless. Leaving him there to just smash me back. It's too much of a risk. We might as well just go for the 3-up on the Dauntless. It's still interesting, blitzing with the Rat Ogre first. There's definitely a chance that doesn't work, but it's worked this time. Yeah, I mean, the Skaven are putting on pressure, but the price of that pressure is that all of his Skaven are in contact, and Dwarves obviously like punching Skaven. So eventually that should tell. Just trying to get all my players back involved. Tying up Dwarves like this is fine in the short term, because Dwarves can't really dodge that well, so any block they throw is a player that isn't moving that turn. I don't think this is the greatest turn from me here. It's leaving the cage corner open to letting this Rat Ogre blitz me. I probably should have done a less traditional cage over on this side of the pitch here, and then just worried about the potential lineman dodging out and getting me. He's got no rerolls left, so maybe I should have just left the potential of a 3-up dodge into 1-dice blitz rather than this thing potentially getting the Rat Ogre in. Yeah, as you can see, he's got 2 dice on the corner to potentially get the Rat Ogre in on the ball, but lucked out a little bit there. Because he got the push. Okay. A couple of stuns though is going to be interesting on my next turn. I have to see what we can do. Okay, a KO back's nice. Okay, we need to try and deal with this Rat Ogre somehow, or at least mitigate the chance of him completely messing me up. So he's going to try and get the Rat Ogre next to the ball carrier, and I need to try and do something to stop that happening. So those are my primary thoughts. Just going to mark up that gutter at the top with tackle. Yeah, so not the best turn, but we got a little bit bogged down. We just didn't have enough players to really try and deal with this guy. So we had to deal with the blitz on the ball carrier first before we... So ideally we want a really tight cage here so that when the Rat Ogre comes in we can get rid of him. But the first thing we needed to do was put this guy one square forward to stop the Rat Ogre coming around and blitzing the ball. So we needed another player free, which didn't really work out. Couldn't really afford go for it and stuff. And then unfortunately got that skull. So it's good. It didn't kill that Garda, that's nice. And then I'm quite surprised at this. I thought he would just put the Rat Ogre here next to the ball, and I think I would have been in real trouble there. Because I could have got him off, but then that would have involved moving all my players before I formed a cage, so I wouldn't have been able to put the ball anywhere. So slightly off the hook here. Mark that Roger was just a guy. At this stage of the drive, we can just let the Skaven have that, even with the claw. And then we'll just jam these guard players in. Make it difficult for the Skaven to get into this cage. Okay, this is the end of the pitch. It's pretty irrelevant now, but the Skaven are fast enough to try and catch me, so it's worth a go for it there just to get a block. Yeah, I'm not sure what the Ratogor was going to do there with that blitz. I'm not sure he could really do me. A 1 dice block there, so yeah. This should be a reasonably easy touchdown. Just need to get this lineman down, and then we are home free, which works out. So that's great. I just need to push back this Skaven at the top, and we should be able to just walk the ball in with a couple of go for it. So obviously. So here he goes. Oh, had the first one. Oof, second one failed, but luckily, nerve-wracking moment. But we do get the touchdown, so that was quite hard fought, I think, with the blitz at the start. But we managed to scrabble our way back into that drive, and 1-1 at half time with us receiving. So, yep, that is the. That's a problem with scoring fast against dwarves. Is that if you do let in the 1-1 at half time, then they're just driving as normal for the win, which is the exact situation that dwarves want to be in. Yeah, you can see on the front line I have corrected my mistake from the first drive, so that should I get blitzed again, the Skaven won't go through the middle. Oh, touchback for me this time, and an extra reroll each, which is much better for me because I only had 2. So yeah, much better kickoff on this drive. Just going to form a little bit of a cage up before we do any of our blocks. We've placed the ball carrier 1 square back from the front of the cage to stop the Ratogor just piling in and marking him. That's just a really basic step you can do, because if the guard blitzer and the ball carrier were swapped like this, the Ratogor could just blitz one of these guys at the front and then stand next to the ball, which would cause me a problem. I'd probably get rid of him, but it's obviously using resources and might not work. So yeah, just avoid that altogether. Yeah, it wasn't. I think that was the greatest blitz with that Trolls there. I potentially could have gone wrong, but it was very low risk. So. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're looking at what our opponent's doing, and we're trying to build that into our strategy for the rest of the drive. So clearly the Skaven coach has decided that the best plan here is to try and take a 3 dice split on an isolated dwarf, try and shift a few players back, and then halfway through the drive maybe he'll have the ability to pressure me a bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to respond to that with my cage and try and make it really difficult for the Skaven guy to blitz with his Ratogor, at least in such a way that I can't retaliate. So what I'm going to do is just going to build a really big blocky cage with all my players jammed together with a guard, so that if the Ratogor comes in, I can punch him back. So in most situations I would be wanting to mark up these linemen on the floor with one of my Longbeards, so I could potentially punch them next turn if they stand up. But I'm going to give that away because that just gives a really easy target for the Ratogor next turn. Because the Skaven are so fast, they can block off this development without really committing too many of their players, and then they could just try and kill. So you know, 6 players over here blocks it off, and the Ratogor can go try kill things. Yeah, this isn't great from the Skaven coach. One of the most basic things that you want to do when you're defending is put people in front of the cage rather than behind it. So I'm trying to go forward, and so the Skaven players want to be in my way. They want to be in between me and the end zone. So having 3 players behind my cage is that's a lot. those 3 players are effectively dead next turn. Maybe putting 1 there if you get lucky, but 3 not so much. Yeah, so he went in for the Red Toga Blitz anyway, and then kind of realised it was going to get surfed and had to dodge out, which wasn't, or didn't have to dodge out, but he decided to, which is interesting, definitely. But yeah, I think then with my being players up in a reasonably sound position here, it's just a case of making sure that Red Toga doesn't do anything crazy. So just try and mitigate his impact on the game, which is why I've marked him with an armor 8 player, just so Claw isn't quite as effective. Also, a potato could potentially dodge away if I wanted to. Yeah, we're just taking our blocks, which is exactly what we're going to do. If Skaven get into contact with you and your dwarves, then you should punch them. And you can see from his dugout that, you know, armor 7, you can't have all your players blocked by dwarves every turn and get away with it. Yeah, as you can see, those gutter runners are way out of position. Yeah, so when I was moving my cage forward, I wasn't going particularly fast or trying to take any risks, just, you know, worrying out position this Red Toga mainly. Trying to stop him getting a base on the ball. But that could be quite tricky, even with a few players up. If he puts the Red Toga on the ball, then marks some of my other players, then I might not be able to get rid of him. Yeah, with all these players behind the cage, I'm not really in any positional danger, so I can just maximise my blocks. And my cage slowly. Prioritising tackle on the gutter runners where I can. So we've mitigated the Red Toga. I don't need to blitz in this turn. I can just block him. Yeah, so the plan was there. See how these blocks go, and then if they went well, I could block the Red Toga 2 dice while still maintaining a cage. And that works fine, so that's good. And that's one of the best ways of dealing with a claw mighty blow guy, is just absolutely swamp him with guard players and the like. Make it really difficult for him to actually get up and hit you. Okay, so there was definitely an interesting play from the Skaven there. He could have taken the pushback there, pushed my guy to hit this square, and then taken the second block, followed up, and then got a tackle zone on the ball with Prince Artel. That could have been interesting, but he chose not to. Yeah, but as you can see, like, committing these players behind my cage has really cost him in the end, because there's a huge gap now that I can move into here. No pressure on the ball. And I might as well just try and hit this Red Toga whilst I can. It's not costing me anything, so we'll give it a go. Moving all my players before I make any dice rolls. And we get the ogre down. Exactly where I want him there, that's nice. The Skaven's still fast enough, they could wall me off if they wanted to, and I'd have to do something a little bit more proactive. Yeah, because that's the concern. If the Skaven wall off here, and then the Red Toga gets in the mix and ties up 3 or 4 of my players, then I could be in trouble. Yeah, so the Skaven went in there. They were in for a dodge into the cage on a 5-up for a half dice on the ball, which is perfectly reasonable. That's a good strategy at this point. But now we've seen that my opponent has decided that that's the strategy now. We're going to change our cage formation to deal with it. So we're going to jam people in and make it a 6-up dodge rather than a 5-up. We'll put some guard in there too, but in case he wants to do it with a lineman on a 6-up. But yeah, mainly worried about the gutter runners. Obviously getting rid of this guy who's next to the cage corner. And that's a nice casualty. Okay, yeah, so there is a spot here with only 2 tackle zones, only 3 tackle zones, where a gutter runner could potentially dodge in, but there aren't any that can really reach that square. This is a lineman, this is a lineman, so they're not really going to be able to get round and get it. So yeah, I think we're fine. 6-up on here. Skaven got so few players that. Yeah, so at this stage we just let the Retter go have his fun. Like, we're so deep into the game that even if he kills a player a turn from here, we're probably okay. Oh, sorry, I misspoke. That was a gutter runner, but it was 3 dice against if he goes in there that way. Yep, so again, the one concern at this stage is a miracle play with a gutter runner or a lineman just going in. So at this stage, we're going to double layer the cage so that there's just more dice rolls. So the thing about 5s and 6s is that, you know, it's not that unlikely. But once you start layering 4s on 5s on 6s, and any extra layer of dice rolls it makes, it dramatically reduces the number chances of working. Obviously that's great as well. We killed that gutter runner, so yep, the armor breaks are really telling now towards the end of the game, and it's kind of fairly simple. You just need to be ultra careful because obviously we're in the lucky or the good position, so we just need to be really safe and solid. Yep, so there we go, walking the touchdown. That is 2-1 to me. The Skaven, of course, still have the opportunity of a 1-turn touchdown, so we'll have to try and defend against that. Okay, so the neither of my KOs came back, so I've only got 9 players, which is not a great way of defending against the 1-turn touchdown. Fortunately, there's only 6 Skaven, so it's going to be quite difficult for him. So this is about the best we can do. Spreading my players, so I'm not bunching them up and make it easier for the pushes, and then we'll just to see what the Skaven coach can do. Okay, so yes, fairly decent attempt here. There's definitely a possibility of this working. Fortunately, with the reduced player count that he has, he's going to have to dodge this lineman out to fill a square. And then the wild animal fails as well. So yeah, it was always a long shot, but it was a pretty good attempt. So well done to him. Yeah, that was it. 2-1 win in the end. Very hard work. The start was just terrible with the throw a rock on the death roller and then the blitz, causing me a lot of trouble. But thankfully we managed to claw it out. So hopefully you enjoyed that, and maybe see you again next time.